Hello again, and welcome to this installment to Spiritual Wisdom. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Nicholas, and on my channel I talk about witchcraft, Wicca, paganism, self-love, and all matter of philosophical and spiritual topics. So if you're interested in those types of things, you know what to do. Subscribe, click the bell icon so you'll be notified each time I post a video, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you've got any questions about spirituality, about witchcraft, please comment down below. No question is a silly question. We've all got to start somewhere, and that's how we learn, by asking questions. And again, this is a safe place if you're a practicing witch, if you're Wiccan, pagan, or you're on a spiritual journey. And as I've always said in the channel, there's no right or wrong spiritual path. There's just the path that's right for you. When you're walking a spiritual path, rather that's a religion, rather that's your own spiritual journey, it's very important to remember the subject of resonance. You know, what resonates for you. For example, when many of us do psychic readings, we'll say to a lot of our clients, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Because usually when you get a psychic reading from someone, sometimes the reading, everything the psychic's saying in the reading, all the messages resonate with the client. The client, everything you're saying makes sense to them, or there's truth in what you're saying. Sometimes some of it rings true for them. Sometimes some of what you're saying makes sense and it's true, and they can connect to what you're saying. Sometimes some of the things you pick up, it's not their energy and it doesn't ring true for them. It just depends on how well you are at divination and how well you are at reading people. Some people are really easy to read, some people aren't. But when it comes to spiritual path, we're dealing with the realm of belief. It's important to remember that we're dealing with the realm of belief. There are many things I believe in as a spiritual person. There are many things what other spiritual people believe in, and everyone's path's unique to them. And everyone's got different beliefs, and it's important to respect other people's beliefs. You can disagree with them, and you can respectfully disagree with people by just simply saying, I respect the way you see things, I just don't see things that way. It doesn't have to be a big argument, a big fight. And what you've got to remember is sometimes what one person believes in may not resonate with you. So it's important to remember, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So, for example, many people who are Catholic or walk the Christian path believe in heaven and hell. As an individual, I don't believe in heaven. I believe my version of that would be the spirit world. That would be my version. You know, when people die, they meet their ancestors, they go to the spirit world. I do believe there's punishment on the other side, but to me, I believe in like the void, the endless. And I believe there's other realms what are not so much nice places what negative and toxic spirits go to, and there's certain beings what are considered demons that rule over these other worlds and realms who deal with nasty and toxic spirits, because someone's got to have that job role. That's my belief. And some people, they do believe in heaven and hell. That resonates with them, but that doesn't resonate with me. Also, some people believe when you die, their loved ones or people become angels. Some people believe in that. I, as an individual, do not believe in that. That does not resonate with me. That doesn't make sense to me. And again, it's so important when you're walking a spiritual path to really think for yourself, to think critically, to remember what you're human, or stay grounded, remember you're human, but also always take what resonates. It's the same with the Bible. If you're following the Christian path or the Jewish Islamic path, now and the Christian path, you've got the Bible, and depending on what Christian tradition you're following will depend on what version of the Bible you're following. With Judaism, it's more, you're following, the Jewish sort of Bible, and then the Quran in Islam. But even with the Christian Bible, there's verses that have been wrote out, verses that have been added, and it's been chopped and changed for thousands of years. And if you were to read your version of the Bible, because every church, every place has got their version of the Bible, if you were to read it back to front, or you would read a few pages of the Bible, some of the religious doctrine in there would make sense to you and resonate, but a lot of it, some pages would not make sense to you, or you get the message but you don't believe in the message, or that doesn't make sense to you, or that doesn't connect with you. And it's the same with spirituality. Like, a lot of these videos I share my beliefs, my experiences. If there's any facts about a subject, I'll share it, but for the most part I'm just sharing my beliefs, my experience. And walking a spiritual path is a very personal path, but it's important to I understand that not everything I say is going to resonate with people. Some people, what I'm saying makes sense to them. They believe the same as I believe, and they can connect to what I'm saying. Some people, what I'm saying doesn't resonate, doesn't connect. So it's always important to take what resonates, what rings true for you, what makes sense to you, you know. And that's why a lot of us, when we do psychic readings, that's what we say to our clients. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, because some of the reading may resonate, some of it won't. But if someone's really skilled in the art of divination and they're good at reading people, some of the message will resonate, maybe parts won't. It all depends on that person's skills, gifts as well. And it's the same if you read a spiritual book about crystals or astrology. You know, there'll be a lot you could read what resonates and makes sense to you. Maybe the full book makes sense to you, maybe only parts of the book make sense, and you want to take what makes sense to you. What do you think, what you believe, and what doesn't make sense to you, what you don't believe in, you want to leave that at the door. And it's so important, because in occult systems now, the word occult is a beautiful word. The word occult symbolises anything to do with esotericism, spiritualism, symbolism, witchcraft. The occult's an umbrella which describes a variety of different spiritual and esoteric subjects. Being in an occult is not a good thing. Being in an occult is where you follow the leader, and there's a dogmatic leader who's got religious doctrine, and every occult has got certain beliefs and ideas, and they've got a religious doctrine, but you're not allowed to interpret that your own way or think about it your own way. You've got to interpret it the way the leader says. And that's why it's so important to think for yourself and to find out what you believe in. But at the end of the day, this is why residence is so important, because what one person believes may resonate with some people, but it won't resonate with everyone. It's just like a song, a melody. There could be 100 people, they could all hear the same song, but 50 people out of the 100, 50 people might like that song, but the majority don't like it, or people have got mixed feelings, because some people would be able to connect with the song, and it would have a message for them, and it would have a different message for everyone. And some people would not be able to resonate with that song. It wouldn't make sense to them, or what's been said wouldn't make sense. And that's why when you're walking a spiritual path, it's so important to take what resonates, what makes sense, and what doesn't make sense to you, what you don't believe in, leave it at the door. And it's so important to always think for yourself, find out what you believe, and take what resonates, take what makes sense to you, what rings true for you, and leave what doesn't make sense, what doesn't ring true for you as well. Because at the end of the day, we're dealing with the realm of belief with spiritual. We're not dealing with the realm of fact and logic. There are many spiritual things I believe in, and many other people who believe in, and it'd be great if a lot of these things we believed in could be backed up with science and proven by science. And I believe one day that may be the case, you know. But, you know, spirit doesn't necessarily work in the realm of fact and logic. And it's so important to take what resonates, what makes sense for you personally, and what doesn't make sense, what doesn't resonate, leave it behind as well. I hope this makes sense, but I just think it's so important when you're on a spiritual path to really think for yourself, to find out what you believe in. And I think it's so important to always take what resonates, what makes sense, and always leave what doesn't make sense to you. You know, it's like in Wicca and the Wiccan religion, there's in it harm none, which basically means do whatever you want as long as it doesn't harm anyone. But there's the threefold law. Many Wiccans believe in the threefold law, some don't. Some Wiccans may believe in karma, but they don't believe you get it back 3 times. Some do believe you get it back 3 times, and some people don't. Some people are practicing witches. They're not Wiccan, they're practicing witches, and they don't necessarily believe in the threefold law. That doesn't make sense, and that doesn't resonate. They may believe in karma. That may resonate. And karma just essentially is whatever energy you put out, you get back. You know, many people believe in that. That resonates with a lot of people. But the threefold law may resonate with some people. Some people believe in that. It makes sense to them. And many Wiccans, that resonates. Some people, they don't walk the Wiccan path, but that threefold law either does resonate and make sense to them, or it doesn't. It depends on the individual. And always take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And that's the most important thing to remember when you're on a spiritual path. Find out what you believe, what you think, take what resonates, and leave what doesn't at the front door. Until next time, stay safe, stay magical, stay wise, and for those of you who are practicing witches like me, stay witchy. Blessed be.